Hello, my friends, and welcome to MSP Unplugged's Tech Talk Tuesday, using customer testimonials to promote your IT service business. My name is Rick Smith, and I am your host today. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, the one and only Mr. Paco Lebron. How about you today, sir?
Boy, Mr. Smith, I'm doing fine on this full Tuesday afternoon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, as I say. Any better than it be a sin. I'm sticking with
I
that. Keep
hear
myself
that.
positive.
Hear that. I hear that.
Well, we want to thank everyone for joining us. We'll get right into today's topic. But first, as always, we have to talk about our other favorite topic coming up very soon. TechCon Unplugged. How you feeling about that, Paco?
I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. We got some good times coming ahead for sure, but we got some limited time here coming up here by the end of the month.
Exactly. Now, TechCon Unplugged for everyone is happening September 7th to the 10th at the Delta Hotel in Woodbridge, New Jersey. TechCon Unplugged is our annual gathering of IT owners, techs, and vendors in the space. There, you will learn from like-minded business owners in panels and breakout sessions, gain key takeaways from partners and vendors in the community. And my absolute favorite part about all of this is you get to experience those one-on-one, spontaneous group conversations where friendships are built, relationships are cultivated, and ideas are exchanged. Now, tickets are on sale at techconunplugged.com. As Paco just mentioned, we are coming down to the end of our early bird special. So at the airing of this, which would be the 14th of March, you'll have about 15 days left to take advantage of that early bird special of $199, which ends on March 31st. So go get your tickets there. We do look forward to seeing you. Anything you want to add to that, Paco?
Be there, be square.
Now, as you know, every week Paco and I come up with a topic usually that's relevant to what's going on in our business or something that has come up in either in the forums or somewhere along the line, and we think it's a good idea to just bring it out and show how we do things. Now, today's topic, we're going to talk about customer testimonials and how they've been used. Now, before we get started on that, we do want to just make sure we give a quick tip, story, or strategy that happened to us in the last week or so that we can share with the audience. So, Paco, I'll let you go first.
No, I would really want to hear what you got to say this week, Rick. What do you got going on this week?
Well, let's say
Or a lesson
I
from
spent my
last week?
week. I spent my week really trying to catch up on some things. I had some small client issues that I needed to address, which basically, I think we talked about this last week about making sure clients understand what is and what is not in scope and out of scope. So
Okay.
I had a lot of, let's just say, unplanned project work to handle for a client, which took me into working on Friday all day. And when Paco called, he found out I was working on Sunday a little bit to get it done. But again, yeah, I know I probably shouldn't have done that. But I did take Saturday off. I didn't go in the office at all. Didn't even look at a computer all day Saturday. So I kind of switched to days. So again, I guess my tip, again, going back to making sure clients know what's in and out of scope, but also for yourself to know what's in and out of scope. And what I mean by that is working on Sunday is out of scope for me. It should be, and I shouldn't have done it, but I wanted to get the work done. And the funny thing about it is this is that part of me that things, what can go wrong sometimes will. I went in on Friday, was fixing up stuff, realized one of the lines was not I don't know who ran it. I don't know if one of my guys ran it or I ran it or it was already there. But one of the lines was basically run really afoul. So in my effort to say, okay, while I'm up here fixing all these other lines, I might as well rerun this line and fix it, which led to a major headache. That's why I realized why the line was run the way it was. There was a fire stop in the wall, so we couldn't get the line all the way down the wall. I ended up cutting half, a good chunk of the wall out to do it. So then we had to go back and patch the wall. So my lesson for that is twofold. One, sometimes it's okay to leave well enough alone. And two, make notes on things like that. If I'd have had a note, there was no note in the previous work I had done that there was a fire stop there, and that's why the line was run the way it was. So it's just my little tip for today.
So it's funny. When you said that, I remember a story that Kerry Holzman had said where he was somewhere fixing, cleaning up cabling, or he was at a client and he saw like all these like random cables from site to site that didn't make sense. So he ended up cutting it. And what ended up happening is he cut the wire and it like screwed up the communication to the other building or something like that. But he like it from what everything he saw, there should have been no reason why whatever was done was done. So he said, yeah, he lost his butt off on that whole job. But it's same lesson, like, you know, trying to be a nice guy, you end up paying more than what you initially was trying to do. So definitely interesting altogether for sure. But my story is don't be romantic with your tools. And you may not think what the heck am I talking about? And no, I'm not referring to Chat GPT and it telling you you're all nice and you're a great person and all this sort of stuff. What I'm referring to is, you know, don't settle for mediocrity. I think that, you know, this past week I had been in. There's a lot of obstacles and hiccups that happen with two of our particular tools that were not achieving what we were looking to do. And so what we've done is, normally we review tools every August, and we were going to try and stick it out, you know. But when I started to look at the amount of time my team was spending to resolve the issues, whether it's support calls, whether it's messing around with it, trying to make it work, where some of us are having issues, the others were not. It just continued to be a pain. So finally, we just said, you know what, we're just going to review and find alternatives because we just cannot continue like this. We were spending more time resolving the issues when we could have just paid a little bit more for it to just work. So that's what my story is don't get romantic with your tools. If you are going through a painful process, it's probably time to look to see what is out there. Sometimes we just get comfortable with what we have. And it's just a matter of time for you to just look into it, go into it a little bit further. And there might be a more beneficial and efficient way for you to do things. May cost a little bit of more in resources up front, but will be well worth it at the end. So that is my story for the week.
Sounds good. So let's just jump right into our topic. Paco, I know you've done very well with this. So I'm going to put the onus on you with this about using customer testimonials to help grow your business. Tell us what's going on.
You got to build raving fans, my friend. You got to build raving fans. I think, it's something that was taught to me. I don't know if it was taught to me or I learned or how it even came up to being a very important piece of our business success. Way back when when we were a break fix shop, and just starting. So I was a part-time business owner at the time, or doing the business part-time. Opened up a virtual office. I partnered with Amazon at the time with their Amazon deal, which at the time deals were like the rave of like Groupon's and Living Social. And I forgot like what was Groupon's competitor now that I'm trying to think about it. But I know there was a competitor to Groupon at one point.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, Amazon took a stab and tried to compete with them as well in the same way. And so that's how we kind of got our start and our quote unquote SEO, that because of the Amazon machine, it kind of pumped our name around. And so what we did was, after we got satisfaction from our clients, we decided to start building our reviews. Now, in Repair Shopper at the time, and in Synchro as well, there was an automated way of sending emails out after a ticket was closed. And you can actually do it on a structured basis. So what we would do is we would go ahead and send a customer survey saying, hey, how did we do? Let us know if you have any problems with your repairs. I think it was either at the 30-day mark or the 60-day mark. We said, hey, hope everything is running well. If it is, we'd love to get a review from you. And we just put a link that we got from, I think it was grade.us was the website. And we just popped it in, and that was how it worked, and it just helped automate our asking of a review versus us manually emailing our clients to do a review for us. Forward some time, we ended up automating it. We worked with Tech Reputation. We ended up doing some creative stuff on getting testimonials in front of people. And then we switched to managed services. So when we switched to managed services, we began to have a very big issue where people were still finding us as break fix shops, and we were still fielding calls as break fix shops. It continued to keep going on to a point where we had to do something different, right? And so that's where I say not only are testimonials powerful, but they can also drive the traffic that's coming to your site as well on the type of reviews, right? And so by getting those type of reviews, you really want to review the type of platforms that you're trying to highlight yourself on as well. So I'll stop it right there, and kind of carry off to you, Rick, on what is your, definition / important, your view on customer testimonials, and B, how are you highlighting those or looking to develop a program to highlight those across prospects and your other clients, which I think is an important thing as well.
Right. We when it's funny, when it was very similar when I was break fix. We would send with the ticket, once a ticket was closed out, it was done right through I guess it was Repair Shop and through Synchro, the I forgot what it's called, mailer. And you can set it up. So once, if it was the first time you'd done a ticket with a client and they closed out the ticket, it would automatically send them 7 days later a basically saying, hey, your ticket's been closed. Can you review our service? Blah, blah, and it would send them a link to our Google business page. So that's how we developed the reviews that we have on Google Business. And you'll notice that a lot of them are very old because, once we stopped basically doing break fix and doing managed service, there was no new tickets because they were all, no time that this was the first ticket that a client received. So I've been working on trying to get that fixed. I know you and I had talked about in the past about, using stuff like Clutch.io and UpCity, which are more B2B reviews. So I am in the process now, as we're in the process of launching a new website. I am going to work on referrals, and first and foremost is getting them from my current clients, because I have which is interesting. I've had some clients for a very long time and have very few referrals from them. Not referrals, testimonials. I apologize. I got plenty of referrals from them, but not testimonials. So let me replace that. I think it's important to get them wherever you can. I do have a few that are on our new website because I think that is important to put them a little bit of social proof on your website. These are ones that customers have written to me, and I've asked them for a referral, and this is what they've given me. The other thing I just read today, actually, Matt Rodella and Tech Marketing Engine released I guess it was an infographic. I only saw that the immediate part of it says 62.3% of people will read your Google business reviews before they go to your website. So that gives you, that gives you a incentive right there. If you want to get people to go to your website, have some reviews or testimonials, or however you want to call it, on your Google business page, that will help drive customers to it, because basically what that tells them is, hey, they've worked with people and people have been satisfied. So that is where I'm trying to get back to now, trying to figure out how to get the managed service clients to continuously give reviews, and there's a process that we've put in place to do that now.
Gotcha. No, yeah, I mean, I think so. There's a couple of things there, right? The first one is understand your platform, right, and where you're trying to invest in. As you mentioned, I'm a big believer in Clutch.co and UpCity. These were platforms brought up to me by another MSP who's much larger than I am. And she was telling me that, you really need to be here, because that's where you're going to get the business to business leads. And I originally thought clutch.co was more for app development and software developers. And it turns out, no, it's really just another continuous basis for that type of stuff. Now, the cool part about Clutch, and just, not promoting them because they're paying us, I think this is a benefit to why I like them a little bit more when getting reviews, is that they have a program where they'll call your client and they'll actually do a phone interview with them and type up the review. I think that's huge, especially for like owners, where you really want to get the owner on there who may not be as tech savvy, or you may not believe that they'll click a link and type or make the time to type it out. They'll spend 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes with them to have that conversation. Right. And I think that's really huge to have that as an ability versus going through a Google or a Yelp review. Now, as you mentioned with the stat, 62.3% of people who find you through find your Google reviews before they go to your website. That's a huge piece to understand, that search is taking up a lot more of the person's visibility than they are to find the website. So you got to invest on specifically where you want the platform. So if you go into Google, or if there are people that are going on to Bing, how is your listing showing? And what platform is it highlighting? So I did a Bing search on my business, and I noticed that my UpCity reviews were being highlighted as far as and people were clicking on there, and they were traveling and finding my business in that route. So first, Google yourself, right? And or I should say, go into any search engine and see what's highlighting in that system. It may not be just Google reviews. It may say Facebook. It may say Clutch. It might say Yelp. You don't know what it's going to pull from, and that's where it's going to highlight, right? And then B, being able to understand what platforms you want to highlight and get more in front of people, that will then show to kind of move forward and on the actual review side and get the testimonials to be put in place. But what I will say is that if you are a business that have been around for a while, and you have switched on what you're doing, maybe you were a managed services company, and now you're only consulting on compliance and pressure of these type of industries. That could be a big shift on those that are looking at your review and contacting you. Ideally, the hope is that you have some type of description in your profile that explains what you do. For us, we literally had to put a disclaimer that said, as of June 2019, we do not do computer break fix work anymore. And you'll be surprised that if you look at our reviews, we have, I think, like a handful. One is a mistaken review because they think that we repaired their computer, and we didn't, because we stopped after when she said that she dropped it off to us. And then two, there's one that says, I brought my laptop in. They basically didn't want the work, which I'm surprised at this day and age. So they wanted me to go somewhere else, and I basically told them no. And I wrote a 1-star review, which I thought that was just ridiculous, in my opinion. Every bad review we get is from people that we don't work with. That has always been our issue. And I think there should be some type of filter that says this person has not done work with these people, and they're just mad at the way that we do business, and everyone can be able to do business the way that they do. So it's just interesting to me on how that all kind of plays out. But anyway, those are things that you want to take into consideration as you're investing in that platform. What platform is going to be best for you and what you need to do. Now, I'm only referring to the platform of where you're leading your clients to leave testimonials. I'm not even referring to the automated platforms that help obtain and deliver those reviews for you as well. So I'll kind of kick that over to you, Rick, on automation / are you planning to do anything to try and get reviews, or are you just going to hit the horn and hopefully get them to drop you a little bit of love on any of these platforms you give them?
Well, we're going to do both, actually. We're going to do both because clients read, and it's the same way. Everyone's busy, they may read it and they have probably every intention of giving you a good review. They may love your service, but they just don't have time to write a review, or some of them don't necessarily know what to say. Right. How do I say, what does he want me to say? I've had clients who say, hey, just write it for me and then tell me and then show it to me. Right. So,
and I'll just copy and paste it.
Yeah. So, we've had all of that, but I think it's always better to be genuine, to come from the customer and the customer's words, right? And the client's words.
Yep.
So I think the idea of Clutch calling your customers and doing that is excellent, right? I think that's an excellent service because now it came from the client's point of view. How, it may be written a lot more eloquently once the Clutch people write it, but it did come directly from the client's point of view, which gives that sense of authenticity. Excuse me. Um, Now, I wanted to point out a couple of things. When you talk about automation, yeah, we're going to go back to even on our tickets or invoices, maybe on our monthly invoices to clients, and say, hey, if you're happy, something in the lines of if you're happy with your service, you know, uh, please feel free to give us a review or such and such, right? Now, if they see that enough, it's like kind of the same thing about marketing or trying to get new prospects or new clients. They have to see it enough touches for it to stick, right? So maybe if they see it a couple of times on the tickets, on the invoices, then you pop up and you call or have someone in your office call and say, hey, would you mind leaving us a review? If you don't have time to write it, we can have a company call you to do the review, whatever. So that is going to be our quote unquote automation. I wanted to touch on one other thing you said about Google reviews as well, right? Something I've been told, I have not put this into practice, but I plan to. If you do get Google reviews, it is always important to respond to them. Whether you just say thank you or whatever, it's important because when it comes time where you get a review that is not warranted, such as the ones you mentioned about, um, the woman gave you a 1 star because you no longer did that kind of work, so you didn't take her machine, or anything that comes up that's a misunderstanding, misrepresentation of where you are. If you have shown that you always comment, then it doesn't look like you're
Right.
being defensive on the ones that are negative, right, or not so positive, let's say.
And that's a
So
big piece too, is to make sure you
mhm.
don't make it defensive. You want to basically state facts on those replies. So, for example, we had one that basically said, "Hey, I dropped off my laptop to these guys, and what did they said? I dropped my laptop off to these guys. It was repaired. The guy looked like a creep, and then now I got friends telling me my pictures are everywhere." And I was like, "Well, A, that's a serious allegation. B, you said last year we stopped doing repairs 5 years ago." So,
Mhm.
I think you got the wrong company. So basically, we wrote in there in the response saying, "Hey, so and so, we apologize for what's going on. This seems like a very
Mhm.
serious situation that you're going through. However, we think you got the wrong company because we don't do repair since July of 2019, and we also searched our database and we don't have you as a client of ours. So A, B, but C, here's some links so you can go ahead, so you can get that addressed and report whoever did do that, so they can go ahead and get through. I think it was like the Attorney General, and I think something else for what Google has to pull any of those searches down. So could it have been a spam review email, review testimonial, maybe, but even whether it was, by you explaining and replying of facts and not saying, well, we don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy. We're talking, then you just look like you're on the defensive. Same thing with the review, like I mentioned, with that person that said, hey, you didn't want the work. We don't do it. We called you to explain that this is what we do. We tried to give you a referral so you didn't have to go far, but you chose not to. If there's anything
Mhm.
we can do to help, do let us know. And then you just kind of end it off from there. When you go into a back and forth match with someone, then it becomes a very big issue. And you
Right.
don't want that. And it just looks bad because now you're basically fighting in public. I will tell you, and I'm not going to say the vendor, but there was a vendor that I was going to sign up with back in 2020. They were, I'm not even going to mention the industry, but they were a tool to help me with some part of my business. I was ready to sign the contract, and it was pretty big money for what we were going to invest in. And I know, and so I just decided, you know what, let me just see what people are saying about the company. And so, like some people have their bad apples and there's some that don't. But there was a Reddit post that they were saying, well, I got tired because they didn't deliver what they said they were going to do. And they left me in this type of lurch or whatever. And the owner replied saying, well, A, we don't know what to tell you. B, this is what's going on. And C, maybe if you didn't do the things that you do, you'd be more successful. So it just looked at me like, I was like, wow, this guy's a jerk. I was like, I don't want to do business like that. So I basically said, all right, well, goodbye. And, and I did not sign the paperwork. And I specifically told the sales guy, I didn't because of the way your owner treated someone who was basically, and it wasn't like the guy was being nasty about it. Because sometimes Reddit, in my opinion, is a cesspool. That's just my opinion. But, there's all kinds of freaking craziness that's all over the place. But specifically, there is value to some of the comments that are in there. And so he was just explaining his experience, and not even like you would see in some of the Facebook groups that just bitch to bitch, but really to actually explain what was going on. And the owner just completely dismissed it, that it was not a problem of theirs. So I said, this is the reason, here's the link, I'm out, thanks. And that was it. And that's how it is. So how you reply is a big piece of how people want to do business with you as well.
Exactly. And it just makes sense to like you say, state the facts, stick to the facts. And and also I will say this. Now it sounds like, a lot of times I think negative reviews are unjustified. But I always say that, it does give you an opportunity to examine your the way you do business, right? Because sometimes everyone is not always, they're not always all wrong, right? There may be a little bit of truth in their experience or whatever. So I would just say examine that portion of what they're saying. If there's no validity to it, um, then state facts. If there's a validity to it, own up to it. You don't necessarily have to do that in the review. I'm in the response. That's totally up to you, but own up to it with the customer, and at least acknowledge that, hey, this could have been handled a little better if that is
Right.
the case. I think that goes a long way, and then you'll find that customer may be a little more inclined to give you a second opportunity, or at least an opportunity to correct the wrong that was made, if there was one. So, but I think that the good thing about it is, again, testimonials will help you grow your business, and that is why we really want to focus on them, because again, when you go looking, it goes back to what Paco just said. He was ready to sign with someone, but saw the interaction with the owner and it turned them off, right? So when you are looking to do business with most things, and I think we do this now just by just by habit. We go someplace, you go into a restaurant, you look at the Yelp reviews or the such and such reviews to see what people think, right? What's their impression? You do that just by habit now, and having a good reputation with your business will go a long way, because
right,
particularly a bunch of negatives stacked on top of each other is a turnoff for anybody, right? So, and your best spokesman are the people that you've been successfully doing business with. So it is very important to press them, to step up and ask for those testimonials. Say, hey, just let people know how we're doing. Because we ask them for referrals, or they give you referrals. So obviously they enjoy your service, right? So,
right.
or they're benefiting from your service. So, I think the testimonial is just the next step in that. And then make sure that testimonial is somewhere broad. Like I said, with our new website that's coming up, we put testimonials on our homepage. Once we get enough of them from current customers, we'll have a whole page dedicated to testimonials. People may visit the site, may read them, may not, but they'll be there, right? And we can pull those from other sources. If they come from Google, if they come from Clutch, they come from UpCity, wherever they come from, we can place them there on the page. And then, again, it just helps to reinforce that these are people that you want to do business with.
And what I'll add on to that as we kind of round out is diversify your reviews, right? I know a lot of people will say, well, I already got a review from that company. Well, from who? Really have a strategy of who you want on your platform. So like, for example, for me, clutch.co is all the owners of my clients and the ones that actually are running the business. Whereas UpCity or another platform will be the office managers, providing us our on the groundwork, discussions, things of that nature. So you can get multiple reviews from a business, and you can diversify it from the platforms that you have as well. Not only does it help you stretch more, right, and hitting the surfaces where people can find you, but B, now you have two different perspectives on what's being happened, what the owner sees, what the office manager sees, and it really just helps round out the availability and visibility of all your reviews as well. I mean, there's so much more to talk about this, and I think really diving in, and maybe this is a resource Thursday where we bring in some vendors that really, or just those that know how to create a great customer testimonial program and strategy, to discuss really more on, hey, here are the actionable items that you need to do. Hey, here are the people you need to talk to, and explain why. I mean, I can go on what we are trying to do, and they anywhere from, posting from social media and what the reviews are saying, creating case studies that are being posted onto these sites as well, down to us creating videos where I even heard to her over at MSP Camp talk about website maintenance improvements, what you can do on your MSP website to get lead gen. But I think one of them was like even getting a video and recording your clients with a particular interview, dub it up with whatever effects can make it look like a really professional video with what we have currently with the iPhones and such now as well. So there's so much you can do with a testimonial. Reuse of content is a big thing. And again, that probably will be a topic for next time. But yeah, testimonials, reviews, it is the digital version of word of mouth, in my opinion. And it's something that you should take advantage of as well.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll echo that, and I think we'll leave it there for now. But I just want to stress again, it is important to get them and make them displayed somewhere so that so that you can have some social proof there. But I think we'll round out here, Paco, unless there's anything else you want to add to that at all.
Nope. My final thoughts is just do it, as Nike says. And head over to TechConUnplugged.com. Early bird tickets are ending. Make sure you get out of it.
Yes, don't forget that. I guess that always leads into our I don't want to call it challenge of the week, but our just a little bit of homework or suggestion of the week is to take a look at your current book of clients and figure out how many of them have given you testimonials and how many haven't, and come up with some strategy to try to get testimonials from each and every one of those clients, particularly the ones that that the testimonial will be positive. Let's start there first. And then maybe it may be helpful if you're having some rocky relationships to have that conversation with a client, and then you'll get a better sense of where the thorns are, that we can start pulling on those to possibly fix that up. But with that, we'll leave you guys for the week. We do want to thank you for tuning in. We welcome you to tune in every Tuesday and Thursday. Watch the video podcast on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged, or catch us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/MSP Unplugged. Help us out here. Like, subscribe, hit the notification button to be notified whenever a new episode is available. If you are that person that doesn't like to watch but wants to listen, you can catch us on your favorite podcatcher app. We are on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as many others. For Paco and I, we want to thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week on MSP Unplugged.